Okay, so this video, July 14th, 2017. This video will be a combination of a little bit of discussion about mulches and a little bit of an update on tomatoes here. As you can see, I've started the second phase of staking for tomatoes. This particular staking setup is pretty robust, but I can see this type of tomato is a very viney reaching tomato, and so I want to have plenty of support in place. And the reality is you go 25 foot long and you put 15 pounds of fruit on each tomato, you're adding it up pretty quick. So that's why you see the 6-inch diameter maple poles and 14 gauge stainless steel electric fence wire as supportive structure here. That'll continue to go up obviously as the tomatoes go up, and I'll be coming back and clipping these to the wires to help keep them up. So we should have a nice hedge of tomatoes hanging down and loaded with fruit this year. Anyway, tomatoes and peppers are doing really well. I wanted to point out, number one, how fast these are growing. You can see all the new growth coming on. That is a direct result of complete trace mineral and hormonal nutritional support, as well as appropriate biology present in the soil, in the root system, in the rhizosphere, etc. I also want to point out the difference when you see a healthy tomato plant. If I can maybe get a shot against the background here, yeah, you can see the color of that tomato plant is a little bit more of a bluish hue to it, almost like a stony blue, like a bluestone blue kind of hue, versus the background vegetation, which is a little bit lighter green. It's more of a green, and this is like a blue green. So you can kind of see it when a plant is really healthy. Also, you'll notice the size of these tomato leaves. That triplet is bigger than my hand, and I have a very large hand. I'll put my hat here next to it for comparison. So you can see those are massive leaves, massive stems, and these plants are going to come on and they'll be able to support and fill and sweeten a tremendous amount of fruit. And as you can see, it's about time for me to get going on the second phase of staking on this row also. Just in case there's not enough things to do on the farm. Anyway, I believe these are all cherry tomatoes. Yeah, in fact, they definitely are. These are the indigo rose, I think they are. They're like a purple colored cherry. And so in like 2 weeks, we've gone from basically a vegetative plant shorter than this tomato cage, which is about 2.5 feet tall, or maybe 3, 2.5, I think. Anyway, from vegetative right up to multiple flowers setting. Multiple flowers have set fruit and are fruiting, and we'll have ripening fruit here pretty soon. So really amazing the results you can pull off when you have the right nutrition available. Also, you'll see these plants are also rocking, and I mean rocking. And on that note, if you recall, in an earlier video this year, I put down wood chips on one row. I kind of didn't think it would be as bad as it is, but I was hesitant to put chips down on the rest of these rows. It's a good thing that it sucks a tremendous amount of nitrogen. I hadn't really experimented with this before, with this type of wood chip, and with this fresh of a wood chip. Ordinarily, if you put wood chips down on something, you want to do it in the fall. You want to make sure there's plenty of biology present and plenty of nitrogen to balance out the carbon. In this case, these wood chips were chopped last year, I believe. They were just put in a pile, and they were taken from a large spruce tree, so they weren't ramio wood chips. Ramio wood chips are wood chips created from branches and trees 2-inch in diameter or smaller, preferably chopped in early spring when they're much higher nutrient and sugar content. So these were not that. So these are a much higher carbon ratio, a lot more cellulose and lignin and that kind of stuff. So they did eat up a lot of the nitrogen, and that upper row was planted in strictly wood chip mulch, and you can see that these plants are much further behind, much lighter green, much less healthy. So this is a fantastic example of why you should not put wood chips down as a mulch, as a general rule. That said, it's a great opportunity for you to see it. And on this row, I want to point out that wood chips basically go underneath. You can see some of them sticking to the edge here. They go underneath down to, well, about where you see the really healthy plants start. Is about where the wood chips end. I think maybe a couple before that. So there were a couple plants here that got they got knocked back by something else also. But you can see the difference from one end of the row to the other. And I can tell you, this soil in here is pretty uniform nutrition-wise. This had 2 years of blue corn in here with high foliar feeds, high nutrition, plenty of irrigation, good earthworms, good mulching. Soil's really been well cared for. And you can actually even see it in the peppers that aren't as close to the wood chips. They're a little further over. They're much further along and healthier than the others. So I just wanted to point that out. This is why leaves and grass and higher nitrogen content stuff is better as a mulch. It doesn't end up consuming all of the nitrogen. You want that nitrogen available to the plants when you're growing. Anyway, that's a fantastic example of that. That's a slight update on tomatoes and such. And I don't know, I guess that's about it for now. So thanks for watching the Farmacy Seeds Network.